Hi there. So on this video I'm going to talk about Uranus going through the fixed signs. It's sitting in Taurus, that's a fixed sign, on the fixed cross. So we have sharing that cross Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius. And originally they were winged animals. The winged bull, the winged lion, the winged bull, the winged lion, and then Scorpio was an eagle with a snake in its mouth. So you saw the eagle soaring high and then it had this snake in its beak. And then we have the winged human, or the winged being, a primate. So that is Uranus's connection with off-planet beings, but also winged beings like fairies, divas, and us as well, whatever your preferred method of flying is. And so I think because Uranus rules aviation and all things off planet, and it's got a very, very high frequency energy, Uranus, which of course many of us will be unable to tap into. We'll tap into the lower levels of Uranus, or maybe the mid octave of Uranus, or the low octave of Uranus. But it arrived on the fixed cross in May 2018. It will leave in 2025, and during this time all of the signs on that fixed cross will have quite a powerful effect on them, because they are at 90-degree or 180-degree angles to each other, and so there will be a certain amount of challenge added to the fact that fixed signs don't like change. They don't take to change as easily as mutable signs certainly do, or as the entrepreneurial cardinal signs do. So if you have the sun, or maybe it's the moon, or important point or rising sign in Scorpio, then Uranus is going to be in Taurus in your opposite sign, and that means that you're going to feel this transformational change, maybe this up in the air feeling at times, via your opposite numbers, via long-term relationship, partnership, formal, informal. I'm talking about people here, but it can be animals, it can be anything that you've got a long-term connection with, like what you do, what your job is, in that sort of way. It's long-term relationship. So however, whatever you're used to relating with. And whatever's ticked over pretty regularly in the past is probably going to be going through a time of a few, some ups and downs there as you adapt, as you find your feet in an evolving new situation. And so you'll just have to accept that many aspects of your life are not going to be the same again. And this could very well be because you're seeing them differently, although Uranus on the lower part of the octave kind of happens around us. It's shocking, unexpected events which ambush us, but you come to accept really that evolution happens in leaps forward. It doesn't happen in kind of a regular routine way. It happens in massive leaps forward. So this is what's going to be happening in your life, and there may be tensions sometimes, particularly because if you are, say you've got the sun in Scorpio, or Scorpio rising, you don't like that feeling of being kind of controlled into changing something. You might be feeling like you don't want to do this, but you have to work at being flexible, at utilizing your ability to compromise. Maybe there will be situations where one or the other party, if it's two parties involved, need more space and more freedom, and so you have to listen to that need in yourself, or you have to observe that need for them, in order to spread their wings a bit more. Maybe it's the pair of you need to spread your wings. And also, if it is in a long term, say, spousal relationship or partnership, you need to bring breath of fresh air into that partnership now, and you need to think of new ways of doing things, and bringing, you know, bringing in a different way to express yourselves together. And of course, last but not least, it's your partnership with yourself. It's your long-term relationship with yourself. And this is a time now when you should be reaching out into the new, into the fresh, into the bizarre, into the unconventional, into what you know, really never took seriously before, kind of idea. And out of that, those nets being cast wider, there will be something in there that you can eat, something in there that you can use to nourish yourself, metaphorically speaking. So that's the kind of feeling of it for Scorpio. And also Scorpio, finally, I would say that you could be quite inspired via somebody who you cross paths with. Somebody really starts getting you thinking along a very, very different track. Somebody who offers you something which is to do with humanitarian gatherings, or something which helps the human race, or indeed helps another type of collective, another type of group, something which brings you into a sort of community involvement as well. It could be working out like that. And of course, remembering that Uranus is very much the higher mind energy, you could be very much feeling guided by that higher mind energy now. Going on to Leo, the winged lion. So at this time, you've got to be more flexible in your area of career. Again, the leaps forward, the unexpected, the responding, the adapting. There's likely to be radical changes there in the way you do it, or in your approach, your attitude. Your worldly status could actually take a quantum leap. So if you've been used to being sort of riding high, then it could very well be that things do start to change, and that you have to find ways to modify or alter the way you've been used to doing things, maybe with the technology. It could be like that, instead of well, anyway, maybe with the technology. And also you will, if you've been feeling that you have quite a lowly, humble sort of position in the world, you could very likely get skyrocketed into a more powerful position. And Uranus rules reversals, so it could very much be, you know, shifting the other way around as well. But it's an erratic energy, it's a spasmodic energy, Uranus. So you have to learn to, I suppose, surf that energy. I suppose, you know, keep a powerful stance, keep your balance, and meet those waves in a, not sort of head on, but try to surf those waves. You may be undergoing unsettling times, and this can cause tension at times, maybe related to your career, or maybe it's to do with parents or guardians, or authority figures, bosses. So you, again, talking about using the analogy of the surfboard here, and maybe it's yourself as a parent, maybe yourself as a boss. So again, it's a time of fluctuating energies, right? And you have to learn to, at this time, you were advised to learn how to be more supple and open-minded in your approach. It's better if you understand that Uranian energy needs to move. It's electric, so it needs to move like lightning to Earth. It needs to find an Earth, and you should be looking for ways to bring fresh methods or different expressions of yourself into your more worldly area. And then on to Aquarius. This is a time when the unexpected will affect the foundations of your life. So where you live, your community, could be parents, could be background, those related to background, family. and matters connected to your country as well. And you have to think of bringing new methods into that area there, using new methods into that area there. And over the next 5 and a bit years, the familiar realities of your background, your ties with the past, your ancestry, where you live, your locality, your community, the group that you belong to, your working group or your play group, whatever it is. I mean, the group that you like to go, have a laugh with. And this could be all altering now or breaking down completely. But of course, that's renewal. Uranus brings in transformation and reversal and renewal. So it could really transformation, I would say. So that could all be upgraded or shuffled around in a different kind of a way. You take the same components, but they're just shuffled around in a different kind of a way. And it affects your routines at home. And possibly routines to do, your work routines as well, and your inner landscape, because this is very much the area of your inner life, your inner self, your inner landscape. This is a time when you have the opportunity to root out negative patterns and conditioning, or indeed there will be that which is rooted in the past, which voluntarily just starts to loosen up and uproot itself because of the changes that are occurring in your life, and you could perhaps build new approaches into how you relate to that conditioning, that patterning, and see how you can use it in a beneficial kind of a way, and also to do with family connections as well. Nature is very much this area for you too. Gardening, agriculture, bigger sort of way, power, so wind turbines, solar panels, geothermal heating, if you've got a house, dig a big hole in the garden, and your water pipes go through there, and then it all gets covered up with earth. And that's the kind of feel of Uranus going through this area here. There could be a feeling of nerviness or uncertainty that comes into which kind of triggers you emotionally during this time. But because this is a very sporadic, erratic energy, it'll come, and as long as you don't willfully hang on to it, there won't be any external reason why it shouldn't just ebb away. And it might come again and ebb away. There might be it depends which part of the energy you're tapping into. Of course, you can supersede and fly right over that kind of emotional fight and flight response. But it is a possibility that this will happen at times with Uranus here, worrying about things. And like I say, Uranus needs to find an earth, so literally get your hands into some earth. A window box, a garden, in whatever way you can, or whatever craft or arts that you might be interested in. And also this is an amazing time to connect with nature on a more esoteric level, I would say, for you Aquarians, if you're interested in that. I mean, just commune, like you can talk literally with nature. It's not quite like I'm talking here, but it's like a little series of thought bombs that come into your mind. A quick story, if I've got enough time here, was some favourite woods of mine, just what remains of a Celtic woodland that I used to go walking in when I lived in the West Country of England. And I was doing a walk with my son who'd come to visit from some foreign land, and it was a hot summer's day. We walked down to it's all on a hill. It's quite a steep hill, so you walk through all these delightful ancient woodlands right down to the bottom where the water meadows are and the stream, the river actually. And we sat down there for a while, sitting on a log talking, and we sort of took off I took off my sunglasses, put them down on the log, and then we turned around and toiled all the way up this very, very long hill. And oh, I forgot to mention, down at the bottom I saw a little being, and I was used to seeing beings in that woodland. I used to keep a diary of them for a while, which I must root out sometime. And he really was quite puckish. And he was like a naughty little, he had little pointy ears and a little green suit on. Well, not a suit, but greenery on. And I just saw him out of the corner of my eye. You often do see them out the corner of your eye. Anything like that in a I think they were still there strongly because it was an ancient, undisturbed woodland. There was no logging going on. It was just a natural, very, very old woodland. And he was splitting his sides with laughter. He literally, like, you know, almost like Peter Pan with his hands on his hips. And we were still talking, but I kept seeing him out the corner of my eye. And we walked back up the hill. When he got to the top, I realised, because my sunglasses are prescription glasses, that I hadn't got them with me. I must have left them down on the log, and that's why he'd been laughing. So I had to walk all the way back down again, found them, and he was there. He was still there, still laughing, and I walked all the way back up. Now, you can say, oh, well, she's absolutely off her trolley, she's nuts. But I did see that, and I've had other occasions where I've seen things which I haven't understood in the moment, because he knew I was going to forget those glasses. So they live on a higher, finer, faster, subtler level than us. And with Uranus down there, you could actually, if you're interested in that kind of interface with that more subtle, finer side of nature, you could connect in there. Yeah, it's very, very much about green living, and finding better ways to live, you know, and better things to eat, and healthier way of living with Uranus there. And this is, but remember, this is a period on Earth where the veils are thinning between the worlds. So if you want to know about Uranus and Taurus, I made another video called Uranus and Taurus and something else, which you'll find somewhere here. And I hope you were interested in that, and I'll see you the next time.